Joining us now, courtesy of the DMM Leasing Hotline here and brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Cowboys Vice President and COO Stephen Jones. Stephen, Happy New Year, sir. How was Christmas for you?
We had a great Christmas with the family, and everything went well. We just got only thing we didn't get was that win against Miami, but we just got to get back on track here and get our momentum going into the playoffs.
Well, it'll certainly be a special night tomorrow at AT&T. I'm sure we'll ask you about Jimmy getting into the Ring of Honor, but what are your thoughts about this Lions team coming into Arlington?
Well, Dan Campbell's done an amazing job, certainly playing at a high level. We've run against two teams here that, had some nice days running the ball, and I'm sure we'll see it again. I mean, Dan does a great job. They're physical, and, with their two backs, they're two of the best in the business, and, we've got our work cut out for us. But we look, obviously we're playing real well at home at AT&T, and our fans just do an amazing job of really giving us a home field advantage, and hopefully that'll work in our favor.
How close were you guys to ever actually getting Dan Campbell on staff as a coach once he was done playing?
Well, we made a couple runs at him and just didn't work out, but Dan's one of our favorites. I mean, he's obviously a Texas man and from Texas, but just doing an incredible job for the Lions there, and motivator of men, and just have nothing but respect for the job he's done there in Detroit.
Stephen, when you mentioned about playing home at AT&T, and we've kind of thrown theories about why things on the road haven't worked out, and one of them I was talking about was communication. It just seems like your operation, and you played some really good teams on the road. I understand that too, but it just seems like the operation of the offense, it just seems more cleaner with communication and stuff at home than on the road. Is that something? Am I going down the right path, or is that something that it's totally not anything you would think about?
Well, I think it's no different than any other teams up against. I mean, most of these stadiums we play in, as you know, are all full this day and time. You have to give them some credit, and all these home teams now have an advantage because they usually have a lot of people who are involved in terms of wanting to root for their home team. So I just think it's part of it right now that these hostile environments are a challenge, and it is, as you said, Brian, hard to communicate. When you have the ball, these crowds have gotten savvy, and it's a legitimate factor. But I think there's a lot of things that go into it, and part of it is you just gotta get in there and stay focused and execute more than ever when you're on the road. But we'll get our hands around that. We're not worried about it.
Do you expect the loudest portion of the program to be when Jimmy gets inducted during halftime?
Oh, I think it's very nice. Where obviously Jimmy's going to be a part of our Ring of Honor, and a lot of our fans have looked forward to that. I think it'll be a great day.
What are some of your memories of Jimmy, as people have been sharing those all week long, but looking back on it, such a tremendous run there in that dynasty of the 90s?
Yeah, Jimmy was just, coming out of, when we hired him, he and Jerry had a great relationship, playing ball together in college, and, of course, communicated all, in and out throughout his career, and was the right choice for us, and came in and I thought just brought great intensity. He obviously knew a lot of the talent coming out because obviously he'd won his national championships and played against some of the best players in the country in terms of that. So he brought that element. But more than anything, I just think he had a great way about motivating men. And I think he came just at the right time, and we had a great run there, obviously winning 2 Super Bowl championships with him, building a championship caliber football team. And as I said, he was one of my mentors that I look back on, really taught me a lot about the game, a lot about leading men, and just hats off to him. And obviously it's great that he's going in the Ring of Honor. I know our fans are looking forward to that, and obviously a big part of our run in terms of the early part of our being a part of the NFL. He was a big part of that.
Stephen, I couldn't imagine who's more competitive between him and your dad. I mean, I just, them working together the way they did, and we saw it from Green Bay as how great of job you guys did. It was very difficult to compete against you guys, but I just couldn't imagine those two working together as well as they did and creating what they did with the teams that you guys built.
Well, both men have been so successful in about anything they do. Obviously, Jimmy did it in football for most of his career, but then he's gone on with Fox and been one of the top talents in terms of communicating what our game's all about year in, year out, week in, week out. And of course, Jerry's had success in about everything he's touched, from the oil business, real estate business, and of course, the NFL and all the the innovative things that he's done for the NFL. Both men have been such huge contributors.
Yeah.
That's why they both wear gold jackets, and certainly a big. It'll be great those two to be down on the field when Jerry inducts Jimmy into the Ring of Honor.
Stephen, you're obviously part of the competition committee, and I was wondering your thoughts on Micah's frustration with the lack of holding calls, and if the NFL has gotten back to you guys at all with any of the reasoning towards that.
No, I don't think there's I'm just one of those who believes that these officials do a great job in general. I mean, it's never going to be perfect, just like players and coaches aren't perfect. They do the very best job they can. Certainly, you get a player like Micah who's, obviously they're doing anything and everything they can to slow him down. And, you're always going to wish there were more penalties in terms of, what they're doing in terms of their techniques with Micah. But at the same time, we get away with our share too in terms of when you look at the film. I'm sure other teams have great pass rushers who feel the same way. But we'll continue. I know Micah will continue to rush his ass off, and in the meantime, I'm sure he'll get his down the home stretch.
Stephen, there's been some reports coming out here recently about some contract extensions or talks with Dak. Is that really premature right now with people talking about when guys throw out numbers, what the contracts could be? Is that really all just premature right now with what you guys are dealing with?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm sure Dak's got his mind on one thing. That's trying to win a championship this year. I'm sure his contract's the furthest thing from his mind. Certainly, organizationally, our focus is on winning this year. Do people like myself and, the guys who handle the salary cap keep an eye on what things are, whether it be a Dak or, for that matter, a CD Lamb or a Micah. You're always managing not only the cap for this year, but you're managing into the future. And you certainly, when you're running your iterations of what a salary cap might look like, which we have to do, certainly not an issue for our coaching staff, the players, Jerry for that matter. But we're always keeping up with what our cap might look like into the future. So we do keep an eye on that. And we do know where contracts are. But, Dak's, the one and only leader of this team in terms of being the main guy. We all know, Jerry said it many times, I've said it, what we think of Dak, and know his future's bright here in Dallas.
Well, speaking of Jerry, he was having fun this morning on our morning show talking about some of the pranks that the grandkids are playing on him. I was wondering if you were ever successfully able to get a prank over on Dad.
Well, we have a lot of fun when we're not working, and have a great time grinning with each other and having light moments. And Jerry was a big part of that as well in terms of the pranks that he liked to play. But obviously we have a lot of fun, and the grandkids have picked up right where my uncles, obviously ourselves, left off in terms of having a lot of fun with each other.
Well, I know it's a busy weekend. We got a lot of college football, but most importantly, tomorrow night, hopefully we come out with the W there. Stephen, appreciate the time as always, sir. Take care.
Hey, great being on, guys. Y'all have a happy holiday.